For His Majesty the King's coronation, we're providing a fitting tribute to this prestigious occasion, but also it's our equivalent of marching troops. So it's being able to parade our aircraft in front of His Majesty the King. So the Flypast planning process starts initially with a concept, an idea of what we'd like to parade in front of Her Majesty the King for the Flypast itself. Once you have a concept, it's a case of starting the planning process itself.
I'm Wing Commander Chrissy Miller and I'm Officer Commanding 78 Squadron. The squadron consists of 200 personnel and we provide multiple services here. That includes area radar control, Northrop radar, airspace management, radar analysis, but also we've just taken on the new capability which is surveillance and control resilience for UK air defence.
My role in the Coronation Flypast is Flypast Coordinator from 78 Squadron Air Traffic. We have an input into the plans and the progression of the Flypast. From our point of view, we need to get all the planes from their hold areas to the Flypast and out the other side safely.
For us at 78 Squadron, it starts with the arrivals of heads of state into Northrop radar, so the radar team will be controlling those. And then we have obviously an air security plan that wraps over the entire event and we'll be supporting that. For the Flypast itself, there's 68 aircraft involved and we will be controlling and providing the air traffic services for those aircraft departing their stations to the stacks over Norfolk coast, then departing the stacks to join the Flypast sequence, the flight over London, and then the egress plan to take them home to their stations after that.
First off, we need to make sure that the aircraft are going to be safe, so we have put in place a restricted airspace which is quite large. It can route from the Norfolk coast all the way through the central London and out towards the west where the airplanes egress. This needs to be done to ensure that the Flypast formation is safe from other airspace users.
I think it's always a really proud moment when you see something that you've planned so carefully that the public see that side of. It's a real pride in our job that we can do that and still keep normal air traffic moving exactly as it needs to. And there's a real sense of pride and achievement that we can make those sort of things work on a regular occasion.
So there are 68 aircraft in total involved in the Flypast, and that's from all three services and representing a real diverse range of aircraft platforms.
My name's Flight Lieutenant Tom Knapp. I am the formation lead element for the King's Coronation Flypast. One Flying Training School was formerly known as the Defence Helicopter Flying School, and that was responsible for training both Prince William and Prince Harry for their career that they had in the military on helicopters. The planning and the step-by-step element for a Flypast starts months out. We select the crews, we select the aircraft. There are other elements that select which fleets, which types take parts, getting the crews together, the lead elements together, and then it's coming up with different aircraft at different speeds, at different heights. We've got jets flying through at 300 miles an hour. Our aircraft is flying through at 90 miles an hour, so trying to tie those timings together is quite difficult for the lead organizer to deal with. As an instructor on 60 Squadron, One Flying Training School, my role has prepared me quite well for the Flypast. We teach our students, our trainees, the advanced techniques that they need to take forward to the front line. We teach them formation flying, we teach them time and target, we teach them advanced navigation day and night. So the role in which we teach here at One Flying Training School suits very nicely with regards to the King's Coronation Flypast.
The Eurofighter Typhoon has been the backbone of combat air since the tornado required, carrying out both air-to-air and air-to-surface operations across the globe. During the King's Coronation, you're going to see a flypast of a breadth of Royal Air Force aircraft. The Eurofighter Typhoon will be contributing to that flypast in a specific formation for the King, and I will be flying one of those aircraft. The flypast you'll see for the King's Coronation is a contribution of pilots and aircraft from both RAF Lossiemouth and RAF Coningsby. We have been training from number 2 Squadron with number 1 Squadron up at RAF Lossiemouth for the past week, before carrying out training with the squadrons from Coningsby, number 3, number 11, number 12, number 29 and number 41 squadrons. The Eurofighter Typhoon is an incredibly safe aircraft to fly. We are also highly skilled and highly trained at flying in close formation. That isn't to say, though, that flying is completely without risk, and it's important for every pilot today to maintain their situational awareness of the aircraft around them to make sure that we keep the flight path as safe as possible.
My role on one squadron is to ensure the serviceability of all mechanical parts of the aircraft. That's things such as wheels, the engines and flying controls. So my role is important on the day because if the weather is bad down south and they can't get their jets in the air, we'll be part of getting those jets in the air in time, ready for the flyover for the King's Coronation.
So day to day here at 6th Squadron, we train and prepare for large force employment and composite air operations. So bringing a number of diverse aircraft together to achieve a common goal. That's exactly what we're doing for the Flypast.
My feelings about being involved during the King's Coronation Flypast is predominantly excitement. These opportunities are incredibly rare, and it's a great moment for both myself and also all the other pilots during the Flypast to showcase the skills that we have for the Royal Air Force. At the same time, I would say that any Eurofighter Typhoon that the Royal Air Force has the ability to be in today's Flypast, and many of them are deployed on operations and on training exercises across the globe. So not only is it excitement, but it's a huge amount of luck for me to be in the right place at the right time to take part today. It's also particularly special for me with my brother-in-law flying in Red 6 in the Red Arrows behind, about 30 seconds following on from the Typhoons. So I wish him the best of luck as well.
Flight Lieutenant Stuart Roberts. I'm Red 7 this year with the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows. So this year, as Red 7, it's my role to navigate the Flypast on behalf of the Red Arrows. So I've been involved in the planning process, and I'll be backing up the boss on the day to make sure we get the timing and the location correct. The biggest challenge on the day for us is probably the weather conditions. Clearly, changeable weather conditions in May in the UK, the routings we've got to take, we can encounter all sorts of weather, so making sure we've got the contingencies in place to be able to do it safely. For the Red Arrows, being at the back of the formation with the smoke coming out, we can encounter quite a lot of turbulence from all the aircraft in front, so it can get a little bumpy for us, especially going over the city anyway, but the training we conduct beforehand hopefully allows us to iron those out and keep the formation looking tidy.
Following the Flypast is when our work really begins as Circus in the back. We're already planning how we're going to maintain the jets on the turnaround servicing at Bournemouth. We need to basically make sure the jets are all serviced in time to make our next event, whether that be another air show or return into the main operating base here at RAF Waddington. So to be involved for the Flypast, it's an absolute privilege. I mean, it's something that I've always dreamed of doing as a kid, and to be able to be seen on TV flying over Buckingham Palace is going to be amazing.
It's a huge privilege to be involved in the Flypast for the King's Coronation. It's a very exciting time for us and for the whole country. I was lucky enough last year to be involved in the Flypast for Her Majesty the Queen for her Platinum Jubilee, so to get to do it again, hopefully from a more experienced position, will be great fun.
The challenge of providing a Flypast of this scale is that there are many different aircraft with many different parameters that they fly to who have very different day-to-day roles. So bringing them all together over the Palace is a challenge in itself.
27th Squadron is one of 3 Chinook squadrons here at RAF Odium. Ultimately, we will go where Defence asks us to go, moving people, equipment, or whatever's needed really from A to B. The role I'll personally be playing is the formation lead. So of the Chinook and Puma 4-ship, I will be in the lead aircraft.
For the Joint Helicopter Command Flypast element, there's going to be 3 Chinook aircraft, so one from 7th Squadron, one from 18th Squadron, and one from ourselves on 27, and there'll also be a Puma helicopter from RF Benson taking part.
So within JHC, you've got Army and Navy who will also be taking part. So the Army will have Apache and Wildcats. The Navy will have Merlin and Wildcats. So quite an array of rotary aircraft on the day.
The biggest risk is timing and ensuring that the aircraft are ready to go for that sortie. If there's any delays, any faults on startup, then that's where we come into our own to fix the snag with the aircraft and make sure it meets that set time over Buckingham Palace.
Training is key to all of this and communication, and that's why we train as hard as we do. We have a saying, and as we do across the Air Force, which is train as you fight. So we train as if this were an operation, and therefore for the Flypast on the Coronation Day, it'll be similar.
So we look to see what aircraft need to go in what order and what speeds they need to fly at, and therefore that will start to bring together the order in which the aircraft are shown. Once we have the order, we then start to plan the route. So it starts with all of the holds, in which case most of the large aircraft are out in the North Sea and the lighter aircraft, such as the rotary wing and the historic aircraft, are in the centre of London.
So the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight is a flight that is a formed unit within the Royal Air Force, and we really represent the historical element of the some 105 years of the RAF history, and to do that we have 12 of some of the Air Force's most iconic aircraft. So aircraft for the Flypast, I like to get as many airborne to commemorate big occasions of state such as the King's Coronation. So we're hoping for the Lancaster to be leading a formation of 5 aircraft in total, so she'll be joined hopefully by 2 Hurricanes and 2 Spitfires. So probably the biggest challenges we face on BBMF are in the engineering enterprise, and probably most pivotal is the acquiring of parts. We've got 5 different types of aircraft in this hangar. They're all over 80 years old, and a lot of parts do not exist from new, so we use a lot of wartime stock, and that stock is depleting as warbird flying gets ever bigger around the UK. So getting the spare parts and keeping the experience of working on these aeroplanes amongst my technicians are probably the biggest challenges we face on BBMF. So a very common question I get asked is, what does it feel like to fly over a big state occasion such as the coronation? I've flown on quite a lot of similar events, the RAF Centenary, the Queen's Platinum Jubilee last year. It's something you never get used to. It is a lot of pressure, it's something I feel very honoured to do, but it comes with a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure to make sure that on the day you do look smart and you represent the service and BBMF as best you can.
Finally, we have the combat air package. We have 3 different types. Firstly, the F-35 Lightning II, followed by Typhoon in a signature formation. And then at the back of the package, we have the Red Arrows concluding the flypast, flying in formation with the Envoy, the newest aircraft for the Royal Air Force.
32 Squadron is the RAF's Command Support Air Transport fleet. So what we do is we transport military commanders, high-ranking officials, also ministers, cabinet officials, and also occasionally the royal family. So the preparation started at the very start of the year. We've also had some practice for us over the North Sea to see how the aircraft handles. This aircraft has never done this kind of stuff before, so getting the aircraft down at the right levels and making sure that it performs appropriately is massively important to us.
The 109 has a fairly unique role in the flypast on the day, so it won't be taking part in the main body of the flypast. About an hour before the flypast goes through, the 109 will get airborne over central London, and it will double check the weather conditions and report back to the main formation. Once it's conducted those activities, it will go back to Buckingham Palace and hover over the top with a media presence on board, and will watch the flypast go through underneath them so that we've got a record of the special occasion.
I'm going to feel very privileged to be sat with some of the best seats in the house. Also to be leading the Red Arrows over the Palace is a massive honour, and something that we're all very much looking forward to.
It's a great honour to be involved in an occasion such as this and such a prestigious event as the coronation of His Majesty the King. I've been very lucky throughout my career that I've had a lot of unique experiences and opportunities throughout my time, but none quite as big as this. So it's a real honour to be able to mission command such a large and diverse package of aircraft over the Palace for His Majesty. It comes with it a lot of pressure. We're very used to dealing with pressure throughout our day-to-day lives and our day-to-day roles in the military, and so although it is not the easiest thing I've done, I'm certainly looking forward to it and looking forward to the challenge.